Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the Grille 15, the Tier 10 German tank destroyer. It's located on the north spawn of Fisherman's Bay and it's under the command of yasine007. And this is the very next game after that game he had on Pearl River in the other video. In fact, he just finished looking at the results and entered a new battle. So, he's off again. 15cm gun, capable of 750 alpha, penetrating 279mm with standard rounds, and with the heat rounds it'll go up to 334mm, and it's got some HE rounds that'll do 950 hit points and the 75mm penetration. Basically it's point and shoot, because this thing has got a 1200 meter per second velocity on the standard rounds, which means you just look at the enemy target, press the trigger and whack, you hit them straight away. He doesn't really have to lead the target, but he does it in such a way as to actually ensure he hits the engine bay. His first shot on the E75 does 708 hit points, and he's now looking at a Mauscher for his next target. That one went into the rear compartment, which of course you know the engine's up front on the Mauscher, so you actually want to hit the front of the vehicle to slow him down. Just across the way is an M60, which is a very dangerous bonded tank. You can only get one of those if you've either won the competitions for some of the best players on the game, if you've actually gifted one by wargaming, or if you paid a huge premium in bonds to actually get one, because it is available in the collector shop. Lots of people like the M60. Okay, Mauscher again. Oh! That was nice. He killed the Mauscher with 618 hit points. There's a Strib 103B over there who's a bit deep. Well, less than cautious, because he's pulled back into cover, but he was sitting out there in the open. Now normally this thing dials in very quickly, but he was trying to work out exactly where to put the shell as it was dialing in, because it was a long range shot, and the Strib managed to save himself by pulling back into cover quickly. Probably his sixth sense went off at that moment. He said, oh, I've got to pull back. Now it's a Panther II hull, which means it's got very low armour indeed. 30mm on the hull at the front, 16 on the sides and 20 on the rear. 20 on the turret at the front, 14.5 on the sides and nothing at the rear really, because, well, it's basically open, and if you actually hit the rear, you're more likely going to do crew damage. You can't see the enemy tanks in the town at the moment. He is in quite an open position. If that M60 was to move up to the gap, he might be able to shoot at them and do lots of damage. We've spotted a Badger, or rather somebody else has spotted a Badger over the other side of the map. We can't get a shot on him at the moment. He's actually being cautious about that M60, because yes, he could do some serious damage. Now the Germans started talking about the Grille 15 in 1942. Waffenamt, the German Army Weapons Agency, actually put out a request for a weapon, and they concluded agreement with Krupp and Rheinmetall. Rheinmetall were going to do the gun, Krupp were going to do the tank, and put the two together, and they settled on the Panther tank as the hull, and they were going to mount either the 128K 43 gun or the 15cm Schwerfeldhaubitze 43 howitzer. Basically, it's going to be a 15cm gun that point and shoot rather than howitzer, like that. Leopard, taken out the game with one shot. Now the 128, or which became the Grille 12, and this became the Grille 15 with a 15cm. The Grille 12 could still appear in the game at any time, because Wargaming might decide to bring it in as a premium tier 8 with the 128, because after all, what you already have is the Scorpion, and the Scorpion G is basically a 128mm gun based on a Panther hull. They could do the same and make the Grille 12 in the game. It would be basically identical to the Scorpion, except of course it would be a bit lower down, Oh, look at that. Poor M60. He's totally dead now. But he was spotted, and so he needs to get into cover because there are 3 Arty on the enemy team. And this particular tank destroyer is susceptible to Arty. Yes, the M53 saw him and said, yeah, I'll have a piece of him. And now the other M53 said, yeah, yummy, I'll have some too. And unfortunately, he took a pretty big hit there. So he lost 180 to the first one, 452 to the second one. And he's now looking for the enemy Arty down the side. He thinks they're in that corner. I'm pretty sure he is. They are down that corner. But the only way you can actually find them and see them is if you go down there, because the Cranbon's too busy with the 705A at the moment. He's hoping that one of them will fire. Oh, we'll take that one instead. Except, does that guy see him? Yes, he does. Yeah. Okay, so we can't poke this corner. And that means the enemy Arty's seen him again, so they'll probably be reloaded any second. You need to pull back, Sunshine. You're going to get clammed again. And he sees the Badger moving up, but he's tempted to go around the corner just like he did to spot the 263. Oh, he's found one of them. And he's out the game just like that. Now, will he get one of the others? I think they were pointing their guns at the Patton and the Cranbarn, as well as that T10 are moving up. Well, there's still 2 M53, M55s on the enemy team, so he still needs to be cautious, because if he is seen, he could get the same treatment all over again. Now, the enemy does have a serious number of tank destroyers. In fact, that's all they've got left, tank destroyers and the 2 Arty. I suspect that the Arty have now made their way over to the west side of the map, and that's where they're located, somewhere in that corner. The Cranvarn, the T10 and the Patton are reluctant to actually move any further forward, because what they're facing is a Waffenträger Aufpanzer 4, an Object 263, a Jägeru, and of course the Badger is holding the front door against the Jagdtiger. I have the feeling that Yasine wants to actually initiate some action. Oh, they're being hit, and the T10 has gone down to the strip. I thought I saw stun on some of those teammates as well, so it looks like the Arty over in that corner. Well, they have to be, because the other corner's been checked out. He's reloading with a heat round. And that probably was a good idea, because that 263 would be difficult to damage if he's in a hold down position. And basically it looked like he was in a hold down position last time we saw him. He's also looking in the direction of where exactly they were last seen. Going to try and creep up on them. This could be dangerous because he's going through a gap where he could be spotted. Now he's waiting. 6 cents did go off. Okay, so he was seen. They know where he is. He could have drawn some of the M53, M55 fire. We'll know any second if he has. He's unspotted now, so he can pull back to that gap. There, yes, he did draw fire. One of them tried it out. They fired at the end of the building, and there was one of the Arty rounds on the way in. Probably firing at their last known position. Also note that our back chat on our side, the back chat 155.55's turned blue. I didn't see that at the start of the battle, but I wonder if he accidentally did some team damage or caused somebody's death. Team damage is not in the game anymore, but it's still possible to turn blue if you deliberately keep hitting your own teammates, which is not advisable. I mean, accidental damage, yes, that's okay. I think a lot of Arty players nowadays do accidentally hit teammates. Oh no, he can't get shots at the moment without moving out into past those bushes. And if he's seen, no, he's having to pull back. He will have been seen, surely. No, they didn't see him. 6 cents did not go off. And that means now he can move to this side of these bushes. He can't turn the turret all the way around. That's the thing. It'll only go around 50 degrees on either side of the centre line from the front of the vehicle. And that's why he's basically pointing his vehicle at the enemy and using the 50 degrees on this side to actually shoot. There's the Badger up near the windmill. Not much we can do about him. He's in the dip. I suspect the enemy Arty are... Oh, the Badger's gone! And it was the Jaeger who got him. I think that yasine007 probably had something to do with it as well. Now, he can't turn the turret all the way around from this position. So he has to turn the whole vehicle around if he wants to point in this way. He's just trying to work out. Is the front of my vehicle spotted? Oh, the Waffenträger. Now, this is going to be good. Yes, right into the gun shield. Was he seen? No, he wasn't. And there were some nice hits there. And I think he got the... Did he get the assist on that one? I think he might have. There's the strip. Just the top of the vehicle showing. Unfortunately, the shell bit the ground. I've often wondered, and it's a very strange thoughts that I have sometimes, but I've often wondered if farmers who own land where there's been a battle, and if they actually sometimes, whilst they're ploughing their fields, suddenly dig up an entire shell that bit the dust and buried itself under the ground. And then they plough the ground and all of a sudden the shell comes up out of it. I suspect that actually did happen in Europe quite a lot. I know back when I was a teenager, I actually went to Europe, and was it when I was a teenager? I think I was younger than that actually. I think it was basically I was about 10 years old. I went to Holland and we camped at Arnhem where the battle took place. Oh, that one flew right over the top of the strip. The legendary accuracy of the Grille 15 has been completely blown out the water, but he should be able to get this one if he can get it over the wreck. No. I think that was a shot out of frustration more than anything else, but it was a heat round, and that's quite expensive. But he wasn't seen yet again. Well, I spent many an hour searching through the woods in Arnhem, trying to find anything memorabilia from the Battle of Market Garden. Unfortunately, I didn't. Now, if only he hadn't fired that round wildly at just blank space, he would have been able to shoot the strip because he would have been ready for it, but unfortunately he didn't have a shell ready at precisely the wrong moment. Okay, so now he can hit the 263 and he gets the sides of the vehicle, which are the weak spots. Weak sides, strong front, weak lower plate. Okay, 2 of them are down, and that means now that there's only 2 tank destroyers, a Jaeger and a Waffenträger Panzer IV, and he's hit that one already, so he's very weak. The 2 Artys, he's decided to barrel on in. He's still got a heat round loaded, and I think that's really for the Jaeger more than the Waffenträger. There goes the Waffenträger. One of the Artys is trying to escape. It's a pity you can't reload a standard ordinary round, because I think it's a bit overkill to fire a heat round at an Arty. There's the Jaeger. Yeah, he's got the M53, M55 trying to escape over to the other side again. Well, I suspect he probably thought it would be safer to actually make the run. He's actually now loaded a standard round, probably for the other Arty, who he's probably going to see very shortly. There's the Jaeger. And he's turning this way, tracking. No, he doesn't even need to track him, he just took him out of the game. And now there's only one enemy left, it's the Arty. He should be to his left, but he was actually hit from behind. So the enemy Arty is over on the other side of the map. And they've only got 52 seconds left. So they've got a motor. If they're going to win this game, they've got a motor. In fact, the M53, M55 on our team is heading south through the town towards the enemy Arty, who must be in that area. I think he'd probably be behind the church. But he's certainly in that south area of the town. They haven't found him yet. There he is! He's actually by the water. And it looks like he's gone over the edge into the water, which would be strange because... Oh, and the Arty gets him and saves the day with only 10 seconds left on the clock. That was close. It would have been nice if Yasine had got the kill because that would have been a top gun. Let's have a look at the second replay. And here's the second replay, and in this one he's on south spawn of Ghost Town. Game on. Now, and I said in the first replay that took place immediately after the battle on Pearl River. What I forgot to mention at the time was, in actual fact, all the games were sequential. So they were one after the other. So 4 Grille 15 games, one after the other after the other. He was grinding at the time. Now I think the Barask is actually going to run ahead and try and do some spotting. They're both similar status in terms of their ratings at the moment, so obviously the Barask realised that he could actually help out if Yasine needed the spotting to actually get some damage on the enemy. Oh, found another one, pattern this time, and it's the M48 pattern. Okay, Object 257. We've seen him hammer rack those things before. And he got a high roll on this one for 785, but he wasn't seen. That's because the Barask was spotting for him. Outside view range, but he is there. And he took the shell. Why do we know that? Because there was no kick up of dust when the shell reached the other end, so it must have been absorbed by the tank. Okay, he's got serious opposition here. An M48 pattern, Centurion 1 and a T69 autoloader. Thankfully though, he does have some teammates to do the necessary. That T44, I'm afraid he's a tier 8 and he's really not going to cut it with some of these guys who are really seriously dangerous. Takes the T69 out of the game, but he takes a round from the Emil 1951, the reward tank. And he did get ammo racked, so he's had to burn his repair kit. Thankfully, he's got the big repair kit, but if he pops up again, he will get hit. Trying to get the gun down, he fires a round into the Emil, who's on reload, and avoids a return shell, which was pretty good, and the Emil's down, taken out by the TS5. Now, he's ignoring those guys just for the moment, because he wants to take out this Object 257, who's very low on hit points. And he didn't get the kill. It looked to me like the shell actually dipped low and went into the tracks. Okay, these guys are seriously being pressed now, so we can get some damage out of the pattern, who looks at him just too late, but the ISU-152K doesn't mistake, and he gets around in, so does the T-54. The T-54's gun was a 100mm, but the TS5 is a 120, and it was actually the ISU-152K, I think, is a, sorry, it's a 152mm round. That was capable of doing 750 output, but he only got a low roll of 636, so at least that was in his favour. He realises you can't poke on that corner unless you expose yourself the other side of the bushes, and that ISU-152K is probably reloaded by now. Now the enemy Object 257 has been wiped out of the town. Unfortunately, he didn't get the kill for that one, but he was on that corner. You can see that now. And there's a T10 there now as well. Hello, Mr. T10. Oh, the shell dipped into the wreck. But there's 2 tanks there. Oh, there's a Doom Turtle as well. So yeah, go for the Doom Turtle. He's going low, but he's reloading. Nope, didn't get that one in. They're ignoring the T-54 on this side of the map. They're just trying to maximise the damage on these guys in the town. Save the Wizzy 111 Model 14. No, again, it hits the wreck. It hadn't got much to work with either. That T10 is only showing the corner of his turret, and the shells are just going to ricochet off at that angle. Again, it hits the wall this time. Yeah, the Wizzy 111 Model 14 needs to pull back. Look at that T10. Otherwise known as the IS-8. that never came to be. We get a shot up there. That was an expensive heat round to fire as a blind shell. Ooh, now this is interesting. We've got a 60 TP in town now, Polish tier 10, and he's already bounced quite a few rounds off that turret. You can see from the marks, those green flashes. That's... Oh, why did you do that? Oh dear, I don't know why he fired that one at all. More out of frustration, I think, than anything. Now we've got the size of T95. He tries to get it through, but he can't get through the armour. And he was spotted this time, so he does need to pull back, otherwise he might be on the receiving end. With 3 tanks down on the enemy now, this is not going so well. The guys that went into the town, who looked like they were winning the game, have actually now basically lost it. And our teammate alongside us is actually doing something rather daft. That's a good round. The GSOR is perched up on high, and he's going to get hit if he stays up there. Backing down, but he's backed down into us, and here's the T54. But remember, there's that ISU-152K somewhere behind him, and the T54, well, he's not close enough to proximity spot, but he's uncomfortably near us. Now he's poking there just to see, was he spotted? Tempted to go over and try and get a shot. He was seen. Luckily he didn't get hit by the ISU-152K. He's probably trying to dial in, because the gun on that tank destroyer is so slow to dial in. Actually, people do complain about the Grille 15 having poor gun handling in many ways, because... Oh! That's an HE round from the T30. Trying to maximise his damage, he got 430. So, in a sense, he's lucky, because that could have been a lot worse. And, oh my gum, that T10 managed to get behind us. He's going up the hill the other side, and we're kind of cornered now. We've only got the Lurver in the town, and he's already taking damage. And all the enemy are coming into sight now. Yeah, Yazid's decided to retreat, find a new better position to be in. We can see why the ISU-152K didn't fire at him when he went over that ridgeline, because he was down in the dip, so he couldn't see him when he poked up. And we're now hemorrhaging tanks. We're down to 3, and there's still 8 enemy out there. He can't turn to face that ISU-152K at the moment, because, as I said before, the gun only turns 50 degrees either side of the centre line. And now the other enemies are homing in on our Leopard prototype. Remember that T10 made his way up, but he's now at the game. Oh, nice shot! 738 off the T54. Borsig, nice. Yeah, oh, he got a big roll there, 1099. ISU-152K, very weak armour. Just needs to get it shot at the target. Yes, perfect. He got an ammo rack. So he's got 4 kills, but he's now only got 1 teammate left, facing 5 enemy. If that teammate dies, he's facing, well, potential Golubanov. And oh dear, no, this is not so good. There goes the T95. The Leopard prototype got him. So no Golubanov now. It's completely off the table. The 60 TP is heading his direction. Striv. Oh, well, I'm not sure if he was watching where he was going, but he's just gone straight into view of an E75TS, the Lurver alternative, and I'm afraid he got a kill shot, and it just leaves the Leopard prototype now. He takes out the E75 with one shot. But there's that 60 TP up on top of the hill. A Striv 103B in the town, and the T30, well, it looks like he was back. Well, he was back at the other end of the map, but yes, unfortunately he just crept up on the Leopard prototype and took him out of the game. I thought he was back up on the hill at the other end, sniping in this direction. Well, sadly this one's a defeat. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats for both games. And here's the end of battle results for the first game. And on Fisherman's Bay, yasine007 managed to get an ace tanker in the Grille 15. He also got a spotter badge for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage, a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He ended up with 5, just one short of getting a top gun, and a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points for his own vehicle. He also managed to get a high caliber in that one for dealing the most damage in the game, and this game took place directly after the Pearl River one, where he also got a high caliber, and also directly after the previous game on Redshire, where he also got a high caliber. So he's keeping up the standard. Let's have a look at the team score. Well, he got 5,219 hit points of damage on this game. The next high scorer was the IS-7 on the enemy team with 3,979, and then the Cranvar managed 3,796. When it came to kills, he had the highest number of those with 5 kills. 3 kills went to the Waffenträger auf Panzer IV, and 2 kills to the Cranvar and the M53, M55 on his own team. Only one player on the enemy team managed to get more than 1 kill. And when it came to base XP, he's actually in second place because the Arty, the M53, M55, managed to get 1,107 base experience points. And the reason for that is he got a lot of stun assist in that one, and off 11 stuns. And that contributed to him getting a higher XP. And of course he's tier 9, whereas Yasine is tier 10, so every time he was hitting a higher tier or lower tier, same tier rather, or lower tier opponents, he wasn't getting as much XP as the M53, M55 did every time he hit a higher tier opponent. The third highest on XP was the Cranvar with 907. He fired 14 shots in this game, got 9 direct hits and 9 penetrations, damage of 5,219 hit points, of which 4,311 were at more than 300 meters, so mostly long range shots in this one. He did receive 1 hit and 3 hits by way of splash damage, because of course he was shot by the Arty several times. They were trying to get him. 5 enemy vehicles were spotted, 8 enemy vehicles were damaged, 5 were destroyed, and he also managed to get 1,525 hit points of spotting assist in that game. On a free-to-play account, he earned 41,098 credits to the game, but after repair, ammunition, resupply and consumables, he actually ended up with 44,824 credits lost, and most of that was down to the fact that he was firing quite a bit of premium ammo, especially when he didn't need to. He could have actually switched back to the standard ordinary rounds. I think he'd loaded the heat because he was having difficulty trying to pen that Striv, and also he would have needed it potentially against the Jaegeru. But the Jaegeru, when he finally did hit him, he hit him with a single ordinary round and he did pen, so he probably could have stayed on standard ammo throughout the game. 1,070 base XP, 4,280 from personal missions payout, and took away 5,350 experience points altogether. So quite a good game, apart from the fact that he actually made a loss. But let's have a look at the second game and see how he got on Ghost Town. Well, on the Ghost Town game, he got another ace tanker in this game, but I'm afraid it was a loss. He did get a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 9. He got a demolition expert because he blew up one of the enemy, blew them to pieces. I can't remember which one it was, the T69 or one of the others, but he definitely blew them completely. And I think it was the T69. He got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He ended up with 4 exactly. A fire for effect for doing more damage than hit points to his own vehicle. And yet again, he got a high caliber. So that's 4 high calibers in a row, one game after the other, because this was directly in sequence on both videos. And let's have a look at the team score. Well, this time round he got 7,844 hit points of damage. The next high score was that ISU-152K with 6,135, and some of that belonged to Yasine, because that thing is quite brutal. If it gets a good pen on the enemy, it can score as much damage as the Grille 15 does, but it does have a very long reload, just like the Grille 15, even though it's only tier 8. When it came to the third highest damage, that was actually done by the Strip 103B, who got 3,148 hit points, and he was still alive at the end of the game. When it came to kills, it was shared between Yasine and the Leopard prototype. Both got 4 kills apiece. 3 kills went to the Strip 103B and the ISU152K, who was actually taken out by Yasine with a rather good shot. And then after that, it was the TS5 and the E75TS that killed Yasine. Both got 2 kills each. When it came to base XP, it's the enemy team who does well on this one. Yes, the ISU152K managed to get 1,401, mainly because he was actually firing against tier 10 tanks and actually hitting them and doing a lot of damage to them. And as a consequence of that, he was earning more XP for every shot he made. The E75TS, again, the same tier 8 tank, doing damage to higher tier opponents and getting extra XP as a reward. He got 1,284 after the ISU152K's 1,401, and the next high score after that was the T10, who got 999 XP out of that game. Yasine only got 698, but he was the top of his team, and unfortunately, the team wasn't up to it. Only one player on his own team was really pulling his weight, and that was the Leopard prototype. Let's have a look at detail. 18 shots fired in this one, 14 direct hits and 11 penetrations. Damage of 7,844 hit points, of which 5,401 were up more than 300 meters. He received 5 hits from the enemy, 4 of them penetrated, 1 non-penetration, but it's splash damage. That was, I think, again, the T30 that did that one to us. And 9 enemy vehicles were damaged, 4 were killed, and 1,150 hit points of spotting assist, or is that damage assist in this one? I think it may have been spotting assist. He earned 51,895 credits on a free-to-play account, got 3,600 for the Achievements Award, otherwise known as Courageous Resistance, and that totaled 55,495 credits. But because he used consumables and he used his large repair kits, I'm afraid, yes, he ended up with a fairly big loss, even after using the premium ammo, of 60,254 credits. Again, he's trying to burn his way towards the third mark. 698 XP. Base XP, 395 for the Achievements Award, 1,093 experience points altogether. So 2 really good battles and a lot of consistency. He's always getting a lot of damage each game, and if he carries on at this rate, it won't be long before he gets his third mark on the Grille 15. I wouldn't be surprised seeing that at all. So I hope you enjoyed both those battles. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel, leave a comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.